I think you do have. Obviously, you you are a person that, even if you didn't sew, you still have all these beautiful things.
Yeah.
This is Skills Pay Bills.
Mm-hmm.
This is Skills Pay Bills 101. We're on the
Wow.
101 highway right now, just cruising,
Cruising.
cruising. But this is 101 episodes.
Yeah.
Can you believe it that we're here?
You know what? I can't seriously believe it because we have had some pauses. We had all of our audio equipment and all that kind of stuff stolen. And so, I not that like when that happened that it was going to be one of those things that we were just going to give up on it and be like, oh, well, that's the show, but there has been like some things where we're like, oh shit, right now we're focused on like we get really busy, and I think that like now that we're kind of, feeling a little bit like
I feel like in a good flow,
exactly.
especially with the editing now of these podcasts and how we're
Yeah.
kind of doing it. It feels like, okay, it's not as much work on the back end as it maybe used to be,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've been pretty consistent over the last month, like doing
Yeah.
a podcast every Wednesday,
Yeah.
having people on that we've been wanting to talk to for a while. And we want to stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
We got the mics going. We got the headphones. It's 101 episodes, but we've also been doing this since February 2019.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So we kind of we're on an average of like one or two a month for like the
Yeah.
past 4 or 5 years, which, is not like crazy gangbusters, but it's like we're consistent,
yeah.
and this is fun. And we get to kind of like, have this conversation again about
A lot of cool things.
Yes, because we haven't talked like this basically since the new year
Yeah.
when we were kind of planning out what we wanted 2024 to be before it like totally fucking became something completely else, like
Yeah.
there were so many things that happened in the beginning of this year, but we're here now and it's we're halfway through 2024
I know, that's so crazy.
and it feels like this year is really building up. Like this is the 2024 I've been waiting for.
Yes, in a lot of ways, but also like there's like if this was 2024, what's 2025 going to be in 2026? And like I always feel like we always like strive to like make it into like more of a unforgettable freaking year, so it's like it's nice to be able to be like, wow, this year was great, and like we had all these great opportunities, and we've done a lot of stuff. So it's like, what if you could do that, like what can you do for 2025? And like really thinking about it as like there's like really no limit.
Well, the cool thing is, especially this year, we've already started scheduling things for 2025. You have an exhibition in 2025 already pre-planned.
And if anyone else wants me to do an exhibition,
Exactly, but
I'll gladly do it.
it's cool planning like a year ahead, so you're always just a little bit ahead of things. And I think that's how, some people are like, oh, we're always busy, this and that. It's like, I think part of it is that we're always anticipating. Right now we're doing things to plan for 6 months from now. So it always kind of looks like we're in a steady flow, but it's just, I think it's the anticipation.
Yeah. When things like that do happen, when there's like a lot of things that are happening, it's really nice to, like, at least for me to like ground myself and like sewing and just kind of like, I forget that that's what I do.
Well, sewing is the thing that threads everything together.
Yeah.
It's like that thing that offshoots everything else, but it's where it all began.
Yeah. And I'm sure that like for you, like there has to be like something where it's like, okay, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's like, how do you.
Oh, I know exactly. Then I get on the phone and edit like a 30-second video or something like that. Yeah, or just basically, edit a time-lapse video, do something like that. It gets me back into the thing of things. It's usually pretty easy. It's just music on like a time-lapse, but it's something that kind of gets me back in the groove of things, always. I do it if I'm like a little bored or anxious or anything like that. It's always kind of fun to do. That's why you see so many of those videos.
Well, that's good. Because, I mean, I think a lot of, there's a lot of people that come into the studio, right? And they're always like, wow, like I follow you on like Instagram and, and a lot of the times I don't think a lot of people know that it's actually you that's doing.
Well, I mean, it's us.
Well,
it's us.
You're the one that like cuts it up and does all that.
But you're the one
stuff.
that's in front of the camera too. So it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
You know, of basically, they must know somebody's filming the videos. They know that you're in the video, but they know somebody's filming it. So it's like, but yeah, you're right. It could be like a social media person or something like that.
Yeah.
But we keep everything. I mean, the theme of our
In-house.
shop is in-house DIY. I mean, of course we do the videos.
Yeah.
If it was our choice, we do everything. Like, that's what our goal is, you know, no middleman.
Yeah.
You know, and we feel like we could do these things.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what? Like, I feel like, obviously, like, being, like, really resourceful where you're like, okay. And, like, the things that we're going to enjoy doing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
It really is
Some things
about, like...
you got to.
Yeah.
People just have other skills.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But for what we can do, we try to do.
Exactly.
You know?
And
I
you're
feel
good
like
at
we
that.
do it pretty well. Both
You
of us.
know?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's the fun part. I think that's where the magic happens. But what I'm saying is that, you know, you're a huge part of it because I could put that camera anywhere. But when obviously it's on you, it definitely shines a little differently, at least in my eyes. You know, so I think that's why it kind of but I'm saying, like, you know, it's always good vibe content.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to even call it that, but just the videos, you know, just because it's you creating, it's something so pure.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, just look at me, I'm just cool because I'm cool.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you fucking have skills, you make shit with your hands. Like, that's the reason why I'm watching the videos.
Yeah.
It's like, I appreciate the motherfucking skills.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it's like, I feel like, you know, when people do, you know, say, hey, you know, I follow you on Instagram and I watch all your videos, I'm like, you know, part of me like sinks, you know, you're like, oh my God, wait, what? You know, because it's like, it's really easy to just be my normal weird self. Like, a lot of people don't get the weird, the ultra weird or picky, you know, I'm picky, you know, all those kind of things. And so it's like, you get to see that and you capture a lot of like the weird and like just quirky, like on video. So it's like, you forget that there is a camera there, you know, and then you're just kind of like,
but those
I'm
are the
there,
parts. And that's the other thing is, like, those are the parts that we choose to leave in.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of that stuff we could cut out if we wanted to make so you seem less weird or just more normal. But it's like, it's more just being like, no, this is it. And the thing is, like, when people come into the shop, it's not like it's going to be any different.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to eventually find out you're weird eventually once they know you long enough. So it's might as well just get it out in the videos like, hey, we're goofy.
Yeah.
Do not take ourselves super seriously.
No.
Love sewing, love being creative.
Yeah.
We love taking life, you know, we take it serious. Like, we try to do things every day, but goofy as fuck.
Yeah. Plus, I'm a happy person.
Yes. Joyful hustler, as Gabby said. Joyful, weird, joyful hustler.
Yes, that's me.
Yes.
It's like,
I think it describes you perfectly.
like, there's like a song playing in my head all the time.
And only you can hear it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I could hear it too.
You can't?
No. I think if I listened hard enough, I could hear something, you know? So, but let's get focused.
Yeah. Let's talk about, what do you call it? The workshops. We had our first ever workshop series this Friday and Sunday. And
Art for Planetary Health. Fleet Science Center.
Yes. And we've transformed the studio. Oh my God. So, which is really cool. Please come and look at it.
Yeah, check it out.
Don't just come and look at it. I mean, come and look at it, but also like sign up for a class, do that kind of stuff. Interact with it. We want for the space to be more interactive. And I feel like I was, to be honest, very like nervous about the workshops because it's like we've changed out the layout of the studio. So then you're it's a different layout. So it's like, now there's a table in a different place and now there's, you know, it's a different layout. So it's like not knowing like how the movement of the shop was going to be was like really for me, like making me a little nervous at the time. And I knew that, hey, you know what, like we're going to make it work, like, you know, all those kind of things. But it was a lot of fun. I really had a good time. And, you know, I feel like it's really like needed. And like there was a lot of that basically people coming together because obviously they want to fix their stuff because it was a mending and repair workshop, but also people coming together and like sitting next to someone that they wouldn't typically sit next to, and them talking about their projects, and then like you kind of like eavesdrop and they're, you know, saying like, oh my God, like I fixed it and it looks so good, and you know, this and that, and you're just kind of like, you do feel really proud, you know, because it's like, that is, you know, I feel like they're almost like my kids, and then you're like so proud, you're like, wow, you did so good, and like, you know, you're just very proud of them for obviously getting out of your comfort zone. Like going to like a workshop or doing things like that is really getting out of your comfort zone, especially if you've never sewn before, or like just being in a new space. Like for me, that would be overwhelming to be in a new space, to be like, whoa, especially if I'm not like teaching the class or doing things like that. If I'm just like going there for like a workshop and I don't know what to expect, it's going to be very overwhelming for me, and I'm going to find every excuse not to like go.
Yeah, but the workshops, I mean, that's the thing. That's like the magic you have. You make people feel super comfortable. I mean, as soon as people walk in, it's like, it feels like their sewing studio, you know, and I love the community sewing vibes that I saw this weekend, where it was like people at the cutting table, cutting denim, people sewing, fixing stuff, talking, you know, but all kind of in their own zone too, like working on their own project. And I was just like, wow, I love the vibes in here this weekend. And I love how the shop feels opened up. And you know what? You were talking about being nervous about moving stuff around, but honestly, we've been here for like almost 5 years. And if you look at all the pictures, if you even like a month apart, you can see like the shop never looks the same in any of the pictures. We are always constantly reworking the front retail spot, the back spot. This has been the biggest adjustment, but to me, it's super exciting because it's like a rebirth of the shop. It's like we just signed a new 5-year lease. We're here for another 5 years. So it's like, how do we utilize this space to the max? And how do we have the most expansive space? And have, you know, allow community to come into the space and sew with us.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's the next step for us, and that's where we're headed.
Yeah. And you know what? It's really beautiful to like see it like in that way, right? Because it's like, I know that there was like a time that we were really striving for something like this, where we could, you know, like have like open like studio, you know, time where it's like we could have like workshops where, you know, just for people to like come in and enjoy the space. And I think that that was one of the things that we talked about that we really wanted to do. And you know, we really wanted to do it because we're like, hey, like this is a space that like more people should like take advantage of, you know, come like learn how to sew, like, you know, be in like community. Like there's a lot of amazing people that are like coming in that are like just excited to be in a creative space that's going to be outside of like their usual realm of work, you know. So it was a lot of fun. And
then you learn things about the fabrics and the textiles. We talk about slow fashion, sustainability. So these workshops are also a way to kind of just educate others and ourselves, you know. People kind of all in part and take part in this discussion. You know, we all talk about, you know, just the modern state of things without getting too technical. Like we just want to learn about different fabrics and everything. The more educated people are when they're buying stuff, you know, and that's the cool part. You're sewing, you're creating, but you're also in the slow fashion universe, you know, and with the best, most patient, most joyful teacher, you know. So it's a really, really cool vibe. And like, we plan to add like a lot of, we're having these like free Art for Planetary Health workshops all summer long, but we'll be also adding like regular Loka workshops, you know, too, where people can come in on groups and, you know, have these group sewing lessons, like tote bags and lounge pants and all this other stuff we offer privately. Now we could offer it for a whole group.
Exactly. And I'm really excited about that too, because, you know, being around other people and where you have a project that you could complete within that time, right? And I feel like I've seen it a lot. Like we used to do like Saturday sewing nights in Bankers Hill, remember when we were out there? And so I've seen it a lot, like what is going to give someone, you know, that like that self-worth when you're doing a project. Is it going to be something where it's like you hem your pants, or is it going to be something that it's like you make something? And so I've seen it, you know, where it's like when people hem their pants and do all that kind of stuff, there's like a purpose, right? There's a purpose where you're like, wow, like now I don't have to like take these to like the tailor, or now I could wear them, you know. but there is like a different like feeling of like creating something like start to finish, that you cut, that you've picked out the fabrics, that you did all these kind of things, and you're cutting it and you're sewing it together, and you're like, wow, like I made that. And like someone is going to see it, and they're going to notice all these unique factors, right? That it's like the fabrics are like, you know, they're vintage. All of our tote bag classes and all that kind of stuff, all of the fabrics that we utilize for those classes, they're vintage donated fabrics. And so you're really leaving with like this really cool tote that is lined, that you can't see any of your stitches, that's going to build your self-confidence in sewing. And someone's going to notice it, and they're going to be like, wow, that's a cool bag. And automatically you're going to feel so fulfilled because you made that, you know. And there is like that feeling of like being so proud that you made something. And if you think about it, like how many people sew, so it's like it's more of like this like a very like almost it's a I don't call this a hobby for me, but it's like it is like one of these kind of things where it's like it requires a lot. It requires fabric, it requires like specific tools, all those kind of things. And it's like it's beautiful to see that like people are taking the time to like slow down and create things that is going to at the end of the day give them like that self-worth.
Exactly.
So with that class,
that there's a space like this with this many machines, and this is like I said, I might be biased, but such a cool space, and we got good music going, and it's just such a good vibe.
It was so funny because there was these ladies, and they were like more towards the back, and one of them had like these pants, and she's like, I gotta make some darts, I gotta make these darts over here in the back, so like my pants fit me like nice and fitted in my waist. And then like the booty's fine, we gotta focus on the waist needs to take in a little bit, so she was talking to this other lady, and the lady was like fixing some pants for her husband, and and she was like, they're like chit-chatting, and they're like, wow, this is like so great, this and that. And then like this oldie song comes on, and she's like, they even got oldies, and it was just so great. And it was like one of those feelings that you're like, we do want this to be a safe space for everyone. We want people to feel like, wow, like I have a place that I could go, and I am accepted there for who I am, like who I want to be, like all those kind of things. And we do that here.
Not only that, we pick good music.
Exactly.
Because it's important. Those little details, things like that, we know.
It's going to keep you going.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's a little extra perks you get here.
That's a Manny thing.
You're never going to get bad music where you're like, oh, what's that? You're going to be like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And we want to plan that. That's stuff that's, we care about.
Yeah.
But... So we have these lessons coming up. We have the free workshops, huge thanks to the Art for Planetary Health. We're going to be talking about them so much throughout the summer, because it's going to be 5 different workshops. It culminates with a huge textile art piece in October.
It does,
at the Fleet Science Center. But upcoming, we're about a month away, 1 month away from Claudia's and Company, huge Legends Never Die art show at Mixed Grounds in Logan Heights on Imperial Avenue. This is an art show dedicated to our ancestors.
Yes.
What a beautiful show.
Yeah, it's going to be great because there's a lot of dedication pieces, that are really meaningful to me, and not just to me, but to a lot of people that, are a part of the show or are, have been celebrated in beautiful ways, and we want to keep people alive, in like different types of ways. So it's like, how do you keep someone alive? You continue to talk about them. You continue to, all those kind of things. Like you just don't forget, so how do we keep, our people that, have passed away too soon? How do we do that? How can we celebrate them? And so, we're having the Legends Never Die art show. It's a really nice dedication, to a really good, strong 10, and I'm excited about it because, some of the people that we're honoring, like I've never met, but they're my ancestors, right? So it's like I really enjoy things like this where it's like it requires for you to do like research and for you to you know, just do a little extra, because it's like, yes, like the sewing part is like, oh my God, like that is a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of fun to be able to like have like a really strong concept and then execute it, and then for someone to like understand it, you know? And so for me, like that I really enjoy doing those kind of things where you're like, whoa, like during that time, what was like a natural fiber that would have been that you would have been able to utilize, or like thinking about it in the way where it's like, cool, like maybe I don't have access to that kind of fabric, but like how can you represent them in like like in that kind of like feeling, right? Where it's like maybe you want to represent them as like resilient. What's like a fabric that is like you could never freaking like wear down, you know, thinking about it in that kind of way, or like the comfort way where it's like, you know, how this person made me feel, like how, you know, warm like my heart was when I was around them. Like how do you encapsulate that into like a piece that you're creating to like, you know, create them as like it's a more of a difficult, like I would say, you know, show than like usual, because it's like you want to like really like pay like this good homage to like that person, you know, where you're not like half-assing it, and
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
you're just kind of like, you know, and every person for me is a different emotion and a different feeling and a different, you know, so it's like how do you, there's going to be a lot of like emotions and feelings that are going to be explored, but also, you know, I'm excited because we have a lot of different artists that are going to also be joining us, and we always have a very talented bunch, and it's always very difficult to actually curate like a whole, you know, group of people that, you know, because it's like we want everyone to be part of the show, but it's like how do you, you know, curate it to where you know you could have enough people and for it not to like, you know.
And I want to say thank you to the William Mail Foundation,
Yes,
who basically allowed this show to not just be a Claudia show, but they gave us funds to purchase canvases to give to
Yeah.
all the artists, and
Yeah.
that's what allowed that's what allowed other artists to join us as well, and to
Exactly.
the show to be even greater. You know, so
Exactly.
super thank you to William Mail Foundation for
Yes.
believing in Soloka
Yeah,
and
for
allowing this to
sure.
happen.
Yeah, and if you don't know the William Mail Foundation, it is an artist. It's a company that gives out grants for artists, and so if you are an artist, please check them out. They have an open submission coming up, and you know it was a really good experience for me to like be interviewed, because you know, they interview you and they ask you about your project and all that kind of stuff. And for me it was I remember showing up and being like, oh God, you know, and you're like at the front of the table, but it's like it's such a good experience to be able to like think about projects that you want to work on, and like having a vision and really keeping like a, what would you call that, like making sure that like the things are actually like happening, like you know, because it's like a lot of the times it's like you kind of do it and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what were we doing? And so it allows for you to like really rein it in and like have a vision and like, you know, share it with someone else. And there are a lot of people here in San Diego that they do want to support the arts, you know, so
There's resources.
there is a lot of resources. So that's the beautiful thing. And so the William Mail Foundation is one of those resources. And if you are an artist, check them out. They're a great resource here in San Diego. So
And they helped us with the Legends Never Die art show.
exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so, and it's going to be at Mixed Grounds.
Yeah, that I'm really excited about, because they have a really good lavender latte.
Fuck yeah.
I love the lavender latte. They're iced with oat milk. It's so delicious. It's one of my favorite drinks. And I just really enjoy going there. One of the main reasons I enjoy going there is it's so funny because like there's been a few times that we run into like Maritza and Hinata, and you know, and I think Hinata is like, wait, who are you? You're out of context.
Maritza is Awesome Designs.
Yeah, she lives near there, and so she walks there, and so it's a really cool place to see, you know, other community members where you're like, wow, like that are there and that, you know, are working out of that space, but also just enjoying a cup of coffee. So,
but there's always cool art on the wall.
There's always cool art on the wall. They have a wine and beer bar, which is cool. And I really I could already envision the Legends Never Die art show because it's going to be in July 20th, right? Yeah. And so it's going to be sunny. It's going to be such a beautiful day. And we're going to have an embroidery lounge where it's like, come, like hang out at like a coffee shop. You already do. Yeah. You know, so it's like, come hang out at a coffee shop, you know, catch up on the fucking chisme. Because it's like, that's why you go to the coffee shop. So it's like, catch up on the fucking chisme. And it's like, what better way to do it when you're like embroidering and you have a fucking cup of coffee? There's going to be food. Like, chill. Like, have a good time. There's going to be art. We're going to have poetry. We're going to have music. It's just going to be a great night. And I feel like I love July because it's our birthday month, you know, but it's like, it's also like one of the most sunny months. And for me, like, I need the sun because it's like, if the sun doesn't come out, you've seen me, you're like, oh my God, is she going to be okay?
Gloomy.
I can't get out of my head about it, you know, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a great show. And, you know,
you mentioned, we have the show July 20th.
Yeah.
Our birthdays are July 15th and 16th.
Yeah.
And then we have our next Fleet Science tie-dye party workshop July 13th and 14th.
Bring a gift. I'm just kidding. That's so fucked.
Right? It's a pre-party. So you can imagine those couple of weeks are going to be insane. And then Ice's birthday, of course, is August 1st, so she's right around the corner. Yeah. And we're taking a trip for her birthday to San Francisco to see System of a Down and the Deftones at Golden Gate Bridge Park. First ever time they're doing a concert out there, so we're super hyped for that. And Ice is super hyped, so we got all that coming up. But focused on July, that week in July starts with the tie-dye party.
It does start with the tie-dye party.
What is a tie-dye party?
So, for me, like, wanting to like do like a tie-dye party was like really an idea where I was like, hey, a lot of us have like stains on like a white shirt, or like you have a black shirt that like something ended up happening to it. And so how do you rework it with like dye, but also you know, maybe like reverse bleaching it, or, you know, like a bleach pen, you know, how can you like blend in that stain so it's not a stain anymore, so it is again wearable. And so for me, you know, really being able to like, you know, this textile journey that we've been on, where it's like, oh well, like, you know, you see something that has like a stain and you're like, oh well, I guess we should just throw it away. But then you're like, no, just, you know, just now, like, you know, spray some bleach on it, and then it's going to create like this really cool like design and pattern. And so then you're like, oh yeah, and obviously that bleach is going to get that stain out. And so it's like, how can you rework your clothes so then like that they have this longer lifespan, as opposed to like, well, I got a stain on it now, it's like over.
And we've done like tie-dye workshops before. Like I think a couple summers ago we had like slow fashion Sundays. How is this going to be different than that?
So this is different because we actually have a friend that's going to come and teach this tie-dye party. And I'm excited because we're going to have music. This one's more of a family-friendly like event where it's like, you know, the kiddos will have more fun, like, you know, pouring paint on like their shirts. And like, we all have kids that have that one shirt that is white that like is just not white anymore. So it's like, how can you add really fun colors? And, you know, and I feel like I really enjoy the tie-dyeing process because, you know, you're throwing colors together and you're seeing how they're going to respond to like, you know, the fabric, but also how they respond to each other. And so how the blends happen. And so I feel like it's an art experiment. you know, and I love science, and I love seeing how things respond to like the textiles that I use on an everyday basis. So for me, I'm always like, whoa.
And it's not going to happen inside the shop.
No, we're actually having it outside of the shop. And we're going to have, you know, it's going to be a party. And like, we're going to have music. We're going to have, you know, like the tie-dye. We're going to have like some, you know, little like surprises.
It's going to be fun. It's going to
be a great time.
You don't have to bring anything.
You don't have to bring any.
Or if bring a shirt. Bring a shirt or something that needs to be tie-dyed. Yeah. But we're going to have all the tie-dye material.
Exactly. So but the whole purpose of these projects is that you bring something that needs like either mending or like, you know, in this case, like something that's like light colored that needs to get tie-dyed. And so like that, it really allows for us to continue to like, you know, make sure that this project is actually like affecting like the things that like we would like to change, you know, being able to educate people so they could be a little bit more sustainable within their clothes.
And that brings up that all summer long too, we are doing a denim drive at the shop. We are collecting denim.
Yes. So we're doing a denim drive. And denim is actually one of the harshest textiles, right? So it's like one pair of jeans. It takes 1,800 gallons of water to produce. And so being mindful that since it is like one of the harshest textiles, it's like, how could we recycle it? And so if you have a pair of denim jeans or denim shorts or a denim skirt or something denim that you're just kind of like, I'm pretty done with this, I don't want it anymore, we're actually utilizing denim to create our community tapestry. And so I love doing community tapestries because they're great metaphors for our communities, that we are every piece of fabric and like textiles and all that, they're so crucial and important for the quilt. And that's the same in our communities. Every person plays like such a huge role. And so being able to honor every person that participated in like this quilt is really important.
And this is the same quilt that we're talking about that's going to be presented at the Fleet Science Center, that's going to be installed there.
Exactly.
That basically all these workshops were going to be, people are not only learning how to use the sewing machines, but they're also cutting denim squares that are going to be part of this final Our Sacred Planet quilt.
Exactly. And so that's like a lot of fun because, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, that it really captures like who we are, right? Because I was the recipient for Barrio Logan. So it's like I am going to represent like who we are as a community here. So being able to have something that we're going to be very proud of is like something where I'm like, all right, I'm going to wow these motherfuckers.
Damn. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be sick. It's going
to be cool because I did a quilt for the continuing ed.
Make it last.
And I've learned a lot from doing something like that. And I had a really, really good time doing it. And for me, it was one of those things where I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, how can we really, you know, keep transforming it into like something even cooler, you know? So it's like with every one of them, obviously, like it's an experiment, you know? And so you're seeing how like fabrics respond to each other, but also like I love the rawness of like denim and like being able to layer it and just, you know, have like threads that hang, but also like, you know, denim is like such a beautiful textile because it's cotton, right? And so the denim that they were making before, they still make some denim like this that doesn't have a lot of like polyester or like spandex, and so it doesn't stretch. And so even that kind of denim, it's like so beautiful because once it gets washed, it leaves a fingerprint. And so that fingerprint is like, to me, like I enjoy adding those little like literal fingerprints like onto like, you know, like our jackets or sweaters, like things like that, because you won't find it in any other pair of denim because everything's washed so different. And so that's a fun fact about denim. But, you know, they actually caught someone on like a forensic files wearing like denim jeans, and that's how they like caught the guy that like I think he like robbed a bank or something.
So denim could be dangerous.
Denim could be.
It's very
denim
edgy.
could snitch on you, basically.
Oh, shit.
You're like.
Well, let's shift the conversation to Claudia.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I guess just talking for a second, I know we're kind of getting towards the end of this podcast, but who is Claudia outside of Loka?
I don't know.
But like, I mean, you're very good at gardening. You're good at Sudoku.
I don't think I'm good at gardening.
You have, you know, very funny jokes. Like, I feel like I knew you before sewing. So it's like I know that all of these things were there, you know. I think you do have obviously you are a person that even if you didn't sew, you still have all these beautiful things.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm trying to re-find myself in like who I am, you know, because I think that, you know, sometimes I know that I lost myself and like at least my identity in like my business, because it's like obviously like I want to have like a successful business, and I've always been like the type of person where I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to like make sure that like, you know, we continue to live this beautiful life, you know.
Interjecting, do you think that making the Instagram page, the business page, and the personal page like one page, do you think that was a bad thing?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that.
Because I mean, our Loka page is your page too.
No, it's not.
It says Claudia.
Yeah, but it's not, because it's like if I had my own page, I would talk so much shit.
But I think that confuses. That's where the confusion comes in, because like, oh, Loka, because you know,
yeah.
But then I think Loka is the business.
Yeah, but it's like, I feel like Loka is like more than just the business. It's like Loka is, you know, a textile artist, and like I have a shop where it's like you could come and buy some of the stuff that I make, and you can see my workshop and all those kind of things. Myself as like an individual, like I'm, you know, that's not my Instagram, like my personal Instagram. You know, I think if I had there's a reason why I don't have a personal.
You have
Instagram.
A personal Facebook. You just haven't used
but
it in forever.
I'm not. Yeah, but I also think that, you know, I just couldn't have a personal like Instagram only because it's like it takes a lot, and I don't think that if I had to, like, you know, keep it up, that I would want to keep it up, just because it's like it's a lot of work, and it's like sometimes when you do open it, you're automatically like your first initial reaction is anxiety. And like, I don't think that's something that I want to feel.
But you could put on like your little body armor before you look. You're like, before you dive into the social media, you kind of just put your suit of armor on. You're like, I'm going in, guys. I'm going in.
Yeah,
Nothing's going to affect me. I'm not going to see anything that's going to affect me. You know, so, and then you just dive in, because I have to go on there and promote all your stuff. So I'm like, I put on my suit of armor before I go in, because it's like diving through toxic waters.
Well, yeah, no, I know. But it's like, and I think it's not, how do you say it? I don't think it's, and there isn't anything like, when I look at my Instagram, there isn't anything that like is bad, you know, where you're like, whoa, that's like, or something that would.
You could compare.
Well, I'm not a comparison person. I don't compare myself to someone else ever.
Yeah, but you could say that. But I'm saying subconsciously.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever. I think for me, like, it's like one of those things where it's like, maybe it's the thing that gives me anxiety isn't like the thing of comparison, right? Because it's like I've never been like the kind of person where it's like, oh, that's been like a thing where it's like I compare myself to someone else. I think what it is that it's like you're watching someone do something, right? And then you're like, wait, I'm watching them do something. Like, I should be doing something.
You are comparing in a way.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not like, it's like, it's more in the way where it's like, oh, you're doing something and you're just watching someone on the thing. It's like, I would rather be doing something else.
But doesn't that make you inspired?
I mean, it depends like what you're watching.
Or does it make you feel lazy? Like if you see somebody else working, you immediately think like, I need to get to work. Or
Like, not that I need to get to work, but it's like, I feel like it sucks up so much of your time.
Yes, time is precious. Time is valuable.
Yeah. And so then in that way, you're just kind of like, whoa. And you're being sucked in for like almost like mindless things. So that's the part where you're like, whoa, you have to really know like how to cut it off.
Yeah. It doesn't come with an instruction manual.
No, I know.
And especially people that are a little older like us, we're a little bit more like, how do you work this shit? But, you know, it's like, you still have to fucking... You know, it's not terrible.
I'm not like a baby. I could do it. you know, it's like, Jesus Christ. Like,
but I don't think we talk enough about the things that we see on there that inspires us. Like, I sometimes see like people talking about things or like saying inspirational things or telling me a story that I never heard before. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I could be thinking about that the rest of the day. You know? So yeah, I mean, obviously there's other sides to it, but yeah. I mean, when you follow a lot of cool people, sometimes you see some cool shit.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that is like, we talked about it yesterday where it's like, you know, curating like a really good, you know, like if something makes you feel like some kind of way, like, you know, just silence it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's why social media is not real life. So you get little extra things where it's like, you know, in my real life, I have to put up with everything.
Yes.
You know, you have to put up with people you don't agree with. You have to put up with everything.
Yes.
You know, it's just to get through life. Social media, you don't. It's different. It's different. So it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Bye.
But and it's like a curated like little 5 minutes of your whole entire day, you know? So it's like, it's not like your whole thing, you know, but yeah, I mean, I think
it's a necessity for
it is a necessity.
Small business.
It is a necessity for a small business. And I feel like we've been, you know, very fortunate to like, you know, most of our opportunities come from Instagram. So it's like, and you're the one that's basically, you know, creating like this content for it. So it's like, it is very crucial, you know, and I think that a lot of people, they, you know, at least a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to that are wanting to start off, they're like, you know, Instagram and this and that. And I'm like, you know, as much as like you don't like it, I'm like, you know, I don't like doing a lot of shit, but I gotta fucking do it, you know.
It's called getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and we never, I never, you know, thought that I would be the one that's like, you know, like.
I don't think it's like that.
Well, like, you know, I think, you know, I do feel that like the videos are, you know, they are like, they heal that inner child for me, because it's like I did grow up with like my dad always having like this camcorder, and like he would always be like, hey guys, and you know, it's like Thanksgiving and you're like, I want to say thanks to, you know, God, I don't know, you know, and you're just like there, you know, and you're just like a kid and you're like super silly, and like you haven't realized that the whole world is going to judge you at one point, you know, and I feel like that's where the innocence is. And I think that when we create videos and when we're out there, it's like, I think about it more in a way of like, how can you, like preserve that, like that time, you know, like how can you like timestamp that? And then like years from now, you could go back and be like, wow,
I remember that.
Exactly. Yeah, and, you know, because it's like, I don't have a lot of like, you know, like videos of me as a kid. So it's like, imagine like, you know, us doing like this beautiful fucking life where it's like we get to be creative and we get to like, you know, it's like our soul is being like fulfilled in so many like beautiful ways, right? Like where it's like we get to be creative, and like, yes, there are hardships that like, you know, come along during like the ride, you know, but it's like, how do you continue to like stay optimistic and just be like, let's keep on fucking trucking?
It's by being goofy and laughing at yourself.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
So I feel like, you know, it's very healing for me to do videos with you. And I always think about it in like that weird, like goofy kid where you're like, yay, you know, and like, there's
It's essential because, I mean, if you were up there, I mean, you make such cool shit. You made such badass shit. But if you were up there every time just me mugging the camera and everything was so serious and so cool, it'd be unfucking bearable.
Yeah.
Be unbearable.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
And it's like, ugh.
You got to undercut it with like, dude, like, this is the goofiness of our lives. Don't take it so seriously. Yes, this shit's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, have fun.
Yeah. And also, like, you know, I feel like we've, you know, this whole journey has been a very humbling journey. So it's like, you could fucking think that you're all fucking cool and all this shit, but it's like, you know, it's a very humbling experience. So it's like, that's where you're like, oh, cool. Like, you're doing your shit, respect that someone's doing their shit, and keep on fucking trucking. But it's like, it's hard out here for a pimp, you know? So that's all I gotta say. And it's, you know, you just gotta know that, you know,
just gotta keep on
trucking,
sewing.
It's sewing.
Keep going, keep sewing.
Keep going, keep sewing. But it's so funny because, you know, Sunday was our workshop, and it was just such a beautiful, like, there was like a good breeze in here, and there was like a good amount of people, and, you know, you're watching everyone sew, and you're like, yeah, look at them go. You know, it feels like cool, and you're like, look at all. It's like, you're like, look at all my babies. They're all sewing. And they're all like into it, and they're all sewing, and they're doing cool stuff. And people are like leaving like with their hearts full, you know. And now it's time for me to do that today, you know, and like sit in the sewing machine and just kind of get lost for a few hours. And I'm really looking forward to that. So,
because you're making dickies.
I have 10, and they look really, really cool. So I'm going to get lost in the zone and just make a bunch of pants and, you know.
Take photos tonight.
And.
Drop coming soon.
Yeah. And I'm also, I haven't told you this.
Tell me.
But, you know how we were going to make the bag drop?
Yeah.
We're still going to make a bag drop, but a different bag.
Okay.
And I just found a lot of vintage belts. So the vintage belts will actually be the straps.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So I see, it pays off to be a hoarder.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Most of the time.
You got to rein it in.
You do got to rein it in.
Sometimes you got to say no to fabric donations.
Yeah. We have a lot of fabric donations right now. Come and pick some up.
So much space. If we were a warehouse, we take it all. But it's we got to be mindful of our space.
Yeah. But even then, like, you know, even if we have like a small space, it's like we have to be able to, like, you know, because it's like, even if it was a huge space, like, we can't just fill it up because we want things.
Exactly.
You know, it's like we still have to be, and, you know, very selective with like what is going to, you know, create like this joy. And I feel like, you know, even when we're doing our 23andMe this Sunday, and it was like, I have like 96% like freaking Neanderthal, you know?
Yeah,
so,
I was like, wow.
So
old school.
And it was like so funny because it's like, you have trouble getting rid of unused, like, or rarely used items. And I was like, wow, that's so true.
So on point.
But, you know, we're going to, just how like we've been doing like a decluttering of like the studio and like really, you know, doing that kind of stuff. We're also doing something like that for our home. And, you know, it feels like a good time, you know. It's like the sun is coming out, like, you know, I want to be like a lizard outside and like soak in the sun. And so I'm very white, so I have to tan a little, you know. It's like, I know my face is brown, but like under here, I got to work on that. So, this summer I'm going to be very, very dark.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Brown as fuck.
Like golden.
Golden
like,
brown.
Whoa, she's dark.
Beautiful.
But yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful next few weeks. It's going to be a beautiful summer.
Yeah.
And this won't be the last time you hear from, it's not going to be the last time we have a Skills Pay Bills where it's me and you, but we're bringing in more people. We want to interview a lot of artists. There's a lot of people we want to interview, but we promise to keep checking in. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This is the 101 episode.
Woohoo!
We're exactly going to keep going, keep recording, keep creating, Claudia, you're beautiful. You have an amazing smile. Your eyes are just piercing. I get to look into your eyes every morning. Such a beautiful, beautiful blessing.
What a kiss ass.
I got to. It's lunchtime. I'm hungry. But I love you. I love you.
We have a lot of food in the fridge.
Good.
So,
Well,
but I love you too. And you're awesome. And I like living this life with you.
I love living this life with you.
Yeah. And we get to.
And our beautiful family.
Do fun stuff. And it never really seems like work. I mean, it is a lot of work, but it really doesn't seem like work when you whistle while you work.
Exactly. Believe me. Go to bed every night thinking my lucky motherfucking stars.
Yeah.
And everyone should too, no matter what their situation.
And to think you were going to marry someone else, huh?
I got lucky.
Yes, you did.
On that note.
Peace.
Okay.